Hi, this is Sandy Sims with SDS Digital and the Accord Sequarallel. This tutorial / demo will cover the 5th CV mode order, arpeggiators. There are 4 arpeggiators, one for each gate and CV jack row. The CV mode determines which sources and which MIDI channels get to the gate and CV jacks. I'm going to play a TRAX tracker sequence to run an arpeggiator. This TRAX sequence is sending 3/4 long notes on MIDI channel 1. Jack 1 in CV mode is also configured to channel 1, which is why we hear the VCO from the stack order. As soon as the order quickbox is changed to Arpeg, you can hear the VCO now arping over the TRAX chords. Let's go into the Arpeggiator Settings underneath the Arp quickbox. Here you can select which jack row to edit the arpeggiator for, just like in the CV mode quickbox. I'll select Gate plus CV row 1 to edit its arp parameter. CV arpeg is yes by default. If this is turned off, only basic single notes will be played on the VCO, usually the last note of each chord. In that state, the rest of the parameters are ignored. If you prefer, the arpeggiation can also be sent on a MIDI channel. It can be different from the source, so that the source channel can be muted in MIDI push quickbox if you only want to hear the arpeggiated chords on MIDI. Let's find a good channel. 4 has a vibe sound, which will be good for arping. You can change the rate or step time of each arp individually. Notice the burst of notes, then the pause. This is because the arp only plays while notes are on, unless latching is on, which is what we'll try next. Type of arp playing is downward, so now it's continuous. We can change that to demonstrate the way it sounds. These are only 3-note chords, so some of the more elaborate types won't sound much different. Skip 1 and skip 2, skip every second note and then play the skip notes afterwards, ascending and descending. Random is quite obvious though. I'll leave it set to upward for now. The next part is playing live notes and how the arpeggiators function that way. First I'll go into a CV mode and check that jack 2 is sourced from MIDI channel 2, which is what my keyboard is on. Yep. I'm starting a little hat tick module from the source clock so we can see how the arpeggiator aligns to that clock. With no quantization on the arpeggiator, the notes, thus the arp, can start at any time, but will remain stepped at that clock's rate. Have a listen. The arp starts immediately, but resets when keys are released. You can hear the timing is out with the ticks. I'll admit I am doing this on purpose though. This can be a good way to go in many situations, or if you have impeccable timing. But for the rest of us, the quant setting can be turned on. which is what I'll do now. Now the arpeggio starts or quantized to the clock by the set step time, which is 1/8 or half a clock in this case. Single notes will still arp unless the latch is turned on, in which case a single note will stop the arpeggiation. This is handy if playing live along with other sequencers, etc. So I'll turn on latching for the next part in exploring the Arpeggiator settings. The pitch bend affects CV and MIDI ARP notes in the same way as regular notes. This can also be recorded into a layer, as per previous tutorial on recording layers by function. The arpeggiators will also follow the master swing set by song effects bundles. This will be covered in a swing tutorial, which will be interesting as the TRAX trackers have their own swing that can counter the master swing. Now for the ARP mask sequencer. Let's play a higher triad so it can be heard plainly. The mask sequencer can be from 3 to 16 steps. Click on a step to turn it off, which is the mask state. This can produce some interesting rhythms. By skipping steps in the ARP, this will skip over some notes. Once things are broken up this way, an increasing clock rate fills it back in. But 3 notes is a bit boring. Here's 6 of the C minor. With 6 notes into 8 steps, it will cycle every 24 notes, much more interesting. Skipping notes is the way most ARPs work, but the Sequarallel has a note hold setting. This will prevent skipped notes by only progressing on an unmasked steps, so they all play eventually. You can hear the difference, and it's a different rhythm entirely. I'll up the game, up down the game a bit. Without the note hold on, it's hard to recognize that it's an up-down sequence. Going beyond the 8 steps will change it yet again. The possibilities are really endless. Okay, enough of that. Let's check out the gate length. This uses the master clock ratio and can be set from 1% to 200%. This means that consecutive gates will be bridged, as will be MIDI notes. I'll turn on MIDI, but it's hard to hear the missing note triggers. I'll try filling in the mask pattern. Okay, slowing it down will make it more evident. There. Now you can hear the bridges. If the VCO's envelope was more plucky, it would be even more evident. So below 100% and no bridging, above, and there is. For argument's sake, I'll take the gate time to the other end of the spectrum. Hitting the stop button will cancel any running arpeggiators, just like hitting a single note will. Now to play around for a while. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial on the Sequarallel's arpeggiators, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm Sandy Sims. Cheers, and keep on patching!